Hi guys, welcome to CYC. Today I want to talk about the ever so sexy topic that is religion and how we've moved past it, and society without religion, secular society. Just what's that all about, essentially? And the two things I'm going to focus on is that religion provided a sense of community, and it also provided a language to talk about transcendence, something that is bigger than you, bigger than the individual. Those two things are massive. And okay, before I get into this, I do want to say I'm not really trying to judge the book or the religion or the organization or anything like that. There was good and there was bad. I'm not trying to say there wasn't bad. There really was. But there was also some good, both as an organization and as an actual moral book itself, saying to share, turn the other cheek, forgive. There's some lessons. And yes, you could extract all the good lessons that you deem good and then just throw away the book. But that's a risky game because it might take you like 5 years to realize that one of the lines is actually important or more important than you thought it was. Regardless, okay, I'm not going to get into that. I disagree with throwing out the whole book, getting rid of religion. I'm not religious, I don't believe, but I'll explain in this why I find it handy as a tool for society. So, we'll start off with community. Obviously, community was a big enough part of religion, just meeting up once a week and just bumping off each other, gossiping, talking and all the rest. Nowadays, we are so hungry for that. We're starved of that kind of interaction. And the reason, by the way, I'm telling you this is basically to give you direction. If you're trying to start a business, do art or something like that, that you can either try and fix these problems or describe them or portray them in art or like whatever. Just as in like, okay, we all know that like, technology is a plague and it sucks the soul out of us. Like the amount of art and business around that is massive. I get it. And by the way, I'm not finished with it, so I'm not going to say it's a dead end. It really isn't. But just to give you other options of stuff to tackle, other problems that are innate to the human experience. This is why I'm going through it. So, community, really big thing. And now we are atomized. We are individualized. We don't have that sense of community. And this is both at that kind of rubbing off each other sort of level, where we actually don't meet up. And there are organizations such as men's sheds and stuff like that, where people are getting together to fix stuff, to make stuff, to help other people. But the one thing those organizations tend to do is they tend to aim at like a plus 40, plus 50 age bracket. And I just think that the people before that, like under 50 or whatever, could probably do with an organization addressing this issue. But okay, that's on the kind of very real world, tangible, bumping off each other, actually meeting people level. There's also the second level, which is that a community identity. As in, we might have a national identity, although even that is slipping in many countries, including Ireland. But like a community identity, which is like we're from Kerry, or we're from like Kilkenny, we're great at hurling and all the rest, or we're from, I don't know, Cork or Donegal or something like that. Or like there used to be a very strong county identity in many of these places. Tipperary still has it in spades. But okay, think of, if you're thinking this kind of like it wasn't that strong back then or it's still strong now, like think of Texas in America. Like that's an identity. That's a strong, like we are what we are. I don't give a shit what the rest of you are doing. Same can be said for Florida. Same could be said for New York. These are all subcategories of the country's identity, but they are they still have their own identity. So that's the two levels where I think, because religion got taken out, whatever, that those two levels seem to be lacking. Because religion was a big part of a cultural identity, and it was a big part of bumping into people and talking to people. And it was also a big part of like correcting each other, which is now my next point, talking about transcendence, something that is bigger than you. You might be able to logic out lessons, like to forgive, to share, to treat others as you wish to be treated, that one golden rule, you might be able to logic that out. But it can be difficult to correct someone else if it takes an hour. As in, like, it's so much easier to correct someone else, especially like kids and stuff like that, if you can just reference a book. It's like, what would Jesus do? Oh man, that sounds funny coming from me. I will point out, I'm not religious. It's just a really handy tool for this point, for this exact point. I can teach my kid, because we both have these same stories of sharing and doing stuff or whatever. But you can also teach other people's kids, and that's not a negative. It happens. As in, the minute a kid hits like 4 and starts going to school, most of its learning does not come from its parents. It'll come from its peer group, its teachers, and other things as well. So having a shared story of morals, like with morals in them or whatever, is handy. So even if being non-religious and being totally logistic, even if you could get an argument for treating others as you wish to be treated, which would be like the veil of ignorance argument. Pretend that you are being entered into society and you don't know where you're going to land, and you want to set up the world so that you would be happy landing anywhere and still be able to strive forward. So that's took me like 20 seconds there to explain it fully. Might take a bit of difficulty, but that language needs to be more prominent, needs to be more common. Everyone should know what the veil of ignorance is, what that refers to, the moral story that refers to, because then we can talk quicker about it. I can refer to it, you'll understand it instantly, and then we have this communication. So that's kind of what I mean. I'm not really trying to say that we need to get religion back. I'm just trying to say that in secular society, we need to find a way of filling these gaps, of not losing or not debilitating ourselves because we outgrew religion, or because we just steered clear of it, or like whatever way you want to phrase it. So that moral lesson of shared morals, common morals, that's one thing. We don't have language around it. It's not language that's common enough that they are actually shortcuts. The second thing is, we don't have language around profound experience, like not in a scientific sense. If I tell you that, man, I'd like this outer body experience, and I realize that like there's just no difference between me and the other person, that they have a full story too, and it just hit me that we're all like connected, and like that sounds airy-fairy. It sounds magical. It sounds like I was on drugs. It sounds off. It sounds like you looked into a crystal ball. It sounds like you did tarot cards. It sounds like you held crystals in your hands. It sounds like you believe in star signs. And that's unfortunate, because people do have profound experiences. And even if they did not happen in a literal sense, they are still connecting themselves to something higher, something bigger than themselves. And not being able to express it makes it difficult to connect at that higher level of trying to fix the world, of trying to have shared values, of trying to organize ourselves in a bigger way, or something like that. It's difficult. So the easiest way of like explaining that in a concrete setting is saying that you like tried a psychedelic drug or something like that, and you had like there's a few cliff notes of feeling similar to everyone like feeling connected to everyone, meeting God himself, realizing that death is only a moment and there's something past it, or something like there's a few different ways it can show itself. But regardless, what did you actually do? You actually took whatever substance and you actually sat on the chair or lay down on the floor for like half an hour or an hour or however long it took. That's what you actually did. Yeah, but man, I just had this feeling. It's like, yeah, I know, but you didn't actually do any of it. Like nothing actually changed. Literally true, but you're stifling that person's experience. You're stifling their ability to abstract themselves and to aim towards something higher than just themselves. And yes, it's very airy-fairy language that's used when you try and stretch your mind above just this meat sack in front of you. It's difficult. And religion has just an abundance of language around this. As like my spirit, if I say my spirit came out or whatever, and just like went, like just zoomed out, and I could see everyone, and there was no difference between me and everyone else, and it made me realize that we're all just part of a machine. I could never say that without saying the word spirit. And even consciousness has a bit of a magical touch to it or whatever. And it's difficult basically to have to share that experience with you without using some religious talk. And we condemn religious talk. We say it's stupid, it is uninformed, it is ignorant or naive or whatever. And because it implies that you believe in God, magic, afterlife, all the rest, which secular society is now just like, what sort of idiot are you that you believe in that sort of stuff? Many idiots do, but whatever. Not calling you idiots, I'm joking. But like a lot of people do. But it's no longer approved to believe in the afterlife or something like that. That is like a naive thought. And basically what I would invite you to do, or I would ask you to shift your perspective, is to say that I should be able to use the word spirit and still remain atheist. I should, or else we come up with a new word, such as consciousness, or aura, or whatever you want to settle on. I don't care. But being able to talk about bigger experiences, or being able to talk about a sense, a feeling of connectedness, or of something bigger, or whatever, an ideal. Being able to aim towards an ideal. Saying that there's a vision isn't necessarily a physical vision. It's just like, I have this like thought in my head, and it's like, no, it's definitely real. Like, it can be real for sure. And it's just difficult to talk about that stuff without just constantly caveating yourself. Being just like, okay, well, I don't believe in this now, but I'm going to use the words because it's easier. Like, having that is just, it's awkward, it's clumsy. So secular society needs to find a way of talking about those sort of experiences. It needs to find a way of having shared stories so that we can have common morals and we can discuss them easily or more easily. It needs to have a sense of community where we bump into each other for whatever reason. Obviously, okay, bad time to be talking about that because of lockdown, but as in, it's not like we bumped into each other the whole time before lockdown anyway. And then finally, a sense of community identity needs to be kind of reinforced, encouraged, because without it, well, if you look at the news and look at the riots and look at stuff like that or whatever, it seems to not work too well. A reason to pull together seems to be needed. And it seems to be needed at different levels. So you need a mission as a country. You need a mission as a county. You need a mission as a community. And you need a mission as an individual. And if you're missing any of those, you can kind of float about. And it can mean trouble. So basically, that's it. It's not really a recommendation, it's just a place for you to look at. So if you are trying to innovate, or if you are trying to create or describe or whatever, capture. If you're trying to venture into unknown territory, into problems that we are facing today, here's some problems. Here's some issues that need to be addressed, I think. So, with all that said, yeah, that was a sexy topic. I knew it would be. Like, I'm not going to make that joke. Nope, not doing it. Anyway, so I'm going to say goodbye now. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.